Hey, what's up guys? It's me, Anthony, here to give you guys another video, and this time we're going to be talking about a director this time, and that is Scott Dickerson. You may know Scott Dickerson probably recently because he came out with a film that's pretty much a hit, and it's called The Black Phone. I really enjoyed that film. This is going to be a new series I want to try on the channel. I mean, I attempted to do that with, Cronenberg movies, but he has a lot, and I don't think I'm really a fan of his stuff, so that was a little bit hard to get through. That will eventually come later on down the line, but Scott Dickerson, I really enjoyed looking at his filmography, and even though, we'll get into it, I didn't really like all of his film, but I think he has a bright future. So without further ado, let's look at the entire filmography of Scott Dickerson. Number 7, Hellraiser 5, Inferno. A shady police detective becomes embroiled in a strange world of murder, sadism, and madness after being assigned a murder investigation against a madman known only as the Engineer. So, full disclosure, I have never seen a Hellraiser all the way through. I remember when I was younger, I saw a Hellraiser movie. My mom didn't really know because, she wouldn't let me see stuff like that. She took me to other horror films like Alien 3 and let me watch Swamp Thing, I think it was. I just know I had nightmares forever after watching something in the swamp coming out. But I saw Hellraiser a little bit, and the only thing I remember was this guy that had a whole bunch of records in his face, and he threw them. And that's all I remember. But I do know that there is a big fan base for the Hellraiser franchise and the Hellraiser character itself. And this one disappointed me a lot because, I had probably too high of expectations with this film because it's a Hellraiser film, and I know a lot of people like Hellraiser stuff. And, I know they're not the best horror films, but they have that kind of cult following, big horror franchises like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky, and all that stuff. And the character's iconic. How Pinhead is an iconic character, but that's the thing with this film. We don't get that much Pinhead. I don't know if it's the fifth film because it's the fifth film in the franchise, and the actor of Pinhead, he's getting older and he doesn't want to be on screen that much, or he can't be on screen that much. But this film, man, I was expecting, I had some high hopes, so maybe that's why it dinged it down a little bit. Number 6, Deliver Us from Evil. When a frightening wave of violence sweeps through New York City, a troubled cop fails to find the rational explanation for the bizarre crimes. However, his eyes are open to a frightening alternative reality when a renegade Judas priest named Mendoza convinces him that the demonic possession may be to blame for the gruesome murders. So to deliver us from evil, this is a thing. I didn't really understand what was going on throughout this whole film. The only thing that kept me interested and kept me piqued my interest is just listening to Eric Bana attempt, and the keyword attempt, to do a Brooklyn accent. It's not good, guys. It's not good. And I love Eric Bana. The Dry was one of my favorite movies of the year last year. And, I just like him. He's cool. Seems like a cool dude. He's one of those actors that you look at him and you're like, I've seen him before, but I don't think I know his name. But he's been in a whole bunch of movies I watched as a kid. But, I know Eric Bana's name. I've been saying it this whole time. But enough about Eric Bana. Let's talk about Deliver Us from Evil. It's very forgettable. But, it has some kind of cool, ominous, scary moments. I don't know why they're in here. It doesn't really fit with the characters that they have in here and the whole entire setting setup, It doesn't really do a good job of setting the world up. Number 5. The Day the Earth Stood Still. A representative of an alien race that went through a drastic evolution to survive its own climate change comes to Earth to assess whether humanity can prevent the environmental damage that they have inflicted on their own planet. I remember when the trailers for this movie was coming out and they had Jaden Smith, and it was one of his first roles coming out, and it's Jaden Smith, Will Smith's kid, and I just remember critics saying, he's just annoying in here. And they're right. But you have an all-star cast in here. You have Keanu Reeves playing an alien, which he does very, very well. And you have Jennifer Connelly in here, who is just Jennifer Connelly. She's good. I like Jennifer Connelly. But, you have a pretty much a big cast You know, very star-studded cast throughout here. But of course, this movie is a remake from the 1950s film of the same name, and I haven't seen that movie at all. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've seen posters. I saw a trailer to it. So I kind of got, you know, there was like one element that was in that movie that was a very prominent thing in that movie, which was the iconic alien that you see with the like the Cyclops kind of looking eye thing. That's in this film, but they just kind of CGI it. You know, this is the early 2000s, so, you know, everything was CGI back then. But, yeah, we're going to start with this movie, because it's a movie. It happened. Keanu Reeves is in here being an alien. But the whole time I was just hoping it was going to be one of those films where it's so bad, but you have some kind of entertainment out of it. You know, there's a couple of lines here that you remember in here, but this is nothing. It's just a meandering mess, you know. Keanu Reeves is talking like this, and I am Keanu Reeves, and I am an alien, and I talk like this. That's pretty much the whole film, and I feel like Keanu Reeves was pretty much doing that after Matrix. After Matrix, that's all he was doing. It was just that same monotone, you know, kind of performance. And you can understand it. You know, I totally get it. You know, after reading stuff about Keanu Reeves, what happened to him back in the day, I would probably be just acting like that and not caring and giving a crap either. Number 4. Sinister. Found footage helps a true crime novelist realize how and why a family was murdered in his new home, though his discoveries put his entire family in the path of a supernatural entity. Now, I know what you're saying, Sinister, you know, it's probably regarded as Scott Dickerson's best film, you know, known to man. Pretty much. I know there is a lot of horror fans and a lot of movie fans in general that just put this film at the top of Scott Dickerson's filmography, and I, you know, came into it. I'd never seen it before, but I wanted to go into it, you know, with lower expectations, because I know, you know, people's, you know, reactions back in the day when it came out are totally going to be different now, because, you know, over time things change, and, you know, it doesn't age well, does it not? You know, but I came into a fresh mind. I was watching it, and I gotta say, I was invested in it, and I was interested in this movie, but I feel like the movie doesn't really get going until the end of the film. The rest of the time, you just have Ethan Hawke being the most terrible dad known to man, and just watching very disturbing videos, and in the dark, mind you, know, turn on a light for once, dude, you know? And then he's meandering in his new home in the dark. It would be another thing if the lights and the power went out, but he's just like, nah, I'm just gonna go in the dark. You know, I hear creepy things. You know, my family's here. Just gonna go in the dark. That didn't make any sense. I know it was there to create the, you know, the disturbance and everything. And another thing that I don't kind of understand why, you know, a lot of people like this, because I see a lot of my friends, my colleagues on Twitter, they, you know, they hold this movie up pretty high as like one of being the scary things. But that, you know, I don't want to call anybody out here. I don't want to call anybody out. But, you know, a lot of them say they don't like jump scares. You know, a lot of people I know, they don't like jump scares in movies. They're cheap and everything. And I don't know if it was just because during this time when this movie came out, you know, jump scares weren't a thing that people hated. But in this movie, I mean, there's quite a few jump scares in here. I mean, I don't know if it's because they're infected, that's why people like them, but there's jump scares in here. They just happen, you know. I don't mind jump scares. I don't really care about jump scares. I think every horror movie has jump scares. But yeah, I was hoping a little bit more for this film. And the villain, the monster, the entity that they have in here, really disappointing, because it has a cool design, you know, but they don't really execute or really, you know, dive deep into that character at all. We barely see it. I haven't seen the second film, so I don't know if that one dives more into that character. I heard that one's bad. I mean, the people that like this movie a lot, and that score, you know, the critic score and audience score for that one was not good, and then the second one's even worse. Number 3, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. When a young girl called Emily Rose dies, everyone puts the blame on an exorcism, but the priest that performed the exorcism is then taken into custody for the murder of Emily Rose. Thus begins a court drama, you didn't see that one coming, to prove that the demonic possession was real and the cause of death was demonic possession. So first off, I gotta say that, again, another film that I saw for the first time, and I have seen like trailers for when it came out and was wanting to see it, you know, for a while. I was like, man, that kind of looks interesting. The trailers make it look really cool. And I gotta say, you know, after rewatching the trailers and sitting down to watch this movie, man, they really deceived me with the trailers. They really deceived me with the trailers. Now, I enjoy this film. You know, there's lots of good elements in here, particularly the lead actress. I mean, she is amazing. I don't know what school, you know, acting school she went to. I don't know what she did for a living prior to this, but she is amazing. The way that she does like physical performances, it's so good. Jennifer Carpenter, that's her name. You know, props to her. She's the reason why, you know, I gave this movie a couple extra stars on my Letterboxd. And if you want to see more scores, because I usually don't do scores on here because I don't really like them that much, but I do scores over there for people that want to go see them. So if you want to go check out my Letterboxd to see what I gave all Scott Dickerson's films, go check that out. But she really elevates the film for me. And this is a court drama, which, you know, watching the trailer, you wouldn't really think is a court drama type of film. You would think it's just an Exorcist film. I mean, there's that in here, but they kind of do it in a flashback kind of scene, and they show you what's happening in the past, and then they go back to the court drama stuff. It kind of made me upset a little bit because it made me feel like I was duped a little bit. And I didn't know why, you know, why wasn't this just made into a TV show? You know, that's what I felt like. It was like, it should have been a TV show. It would have been a lot better paced that way, because this way it's just really fast paced and they got to show you the exorcism and then they go back to the court drama, and then they're trying to meld these two worlds in together, you know, the supernatural, spiritual, religious world in here with this reality based, you know, lawyer jargon kind of thing, and they try to push it together. And I think that works well with a TV series. I mean, there's a TV series that's very popular now on Paramount Plus that you check out. It's called Evil, where they do this similar thing and they meld it very, very well. But like I said, you know, Jennifer Carpenter, she's great in here. Watch it just for her. Watch those scenes of when she's, you know, Emily Rose being possessed and everything. That's great. The rest of it's all right. Number 2. Doctor Strange. I don't really think I need to give you guys a synopsis of this. It's a MCU movie. If you haven't seen it, it's just a guy, you know, magician dude, does magic in the MCU. Maybe he meets Thor. Maybe he meets Captain America. Watch the movie. But this is the kind of stuff that I really like about this series that I want to do when I look at some directors and their filmography, you know, directors, less known directors, and see what they have done. Because sometimes you get surprised. Because I was surprised when I saw this. I was like, oh, Scott Dickerson was the one that directed Doctor Strange? That's random, especially if you look at his past filmography. You wouldn't think that he would be one chosen to direct a Doctor Strange film or any MCU film. But I think this is his breakout film. I think he did a really good job. You can tell that he learned a lot from his past filming experiences, and this is where I think this film and the next film we're going to talk about, which I think you already know what it is, but I think this is where, you know, he's hitting his stride. You know, he knows how he wants to direct, he knows the way he wants to do things, and you can see those elements, which we'll talk about at the end of this video, where he's kind of getting his style. You know, he's getting the style going. But what can I say about Doctor Strange that hasn't been said already? It's a good film. It's an MCU film. I tend to like MCU films a lot. I don't think Phase 4 is like, you know, mid, as people are saying, mid. MCU's mid now. Phase 4 sucks, you know, and all that stuff. I do think that it's a little bloated with the TV series that you have to watch and the movies. But I enjoy it. I like all the stuff so far that's going on. It's not my favorite, you know, but it's not mid, as people are saying, at least not to me. I mean, if you think it's mid, then it's mid. But to me, it's fine. And number 1, The Black Phone. Finney Shaw, a shy but clever 13-year-old boy, is abducted by a sadistic killer and trapped in a soundproof basement. Finney then discovers a disconnected phone on the wall, and it begins to ring. Finney discovers that he can hear the voices of the killer's previous victims, and they are dead, set on making sure that what happened to them won't happen to Finney. So like I said, I did a review of The Black Phone, so you can see all my thoughts on that video here, but just to give you a short summary, I really enjoyed this film. I think it's his best film, clearly, because it's on number 1 on the list here. But yeah, I just like all the elements in here. Again, like I was saying in Doctor Strange, when I was talking about that one, this is where you can see a lot of like everything culminating from his very first film, Hellraiser 5 Inferno, to this film, where you can see the evolution, you can see the theming and his style kind of coming into a. And I really like that. I really like going through this journey of watching his filmography leading up to The Black Phone. It probably made, elevated the film a little bit more for me, because I was seeing, Scott Dickerson's filmography as I was going, and I watched this film and I was like, yeah. I can see that's Scott Dickerson, man. That's a very Scott Dickerson thing to do. But the movie's fun. I really enjoyed it. Ethan Hawke's character could have been a little bit more developed. I mean, we don't really know that much about the Grabber. He comes, he has a cool mask, and then he says a bunch of things, and then he leaves, and you're like, but why? But the rest was really entertaining. The two lead kid actors are really well done. They do a really good job. Sometimes kid actors, it's really hard, to really get good kid actors, because, they're kids, and that stuff. But, they're not Jaden Smith from The Day the Earth Stood Still, They're not that. And I just want to say, overall thoughts of Scott Dickerson as a director and his films. I think, every film that he has done in his filmography, he's got better each time. For starting off of the really bad Hellraiser film to The Black Phone, I really like the growth here. I really think that he has something here. He has a style, and that style that I have noticed in the film is he likes to focus on bringing the past and making it relevant into the future. Maybe I saw you saw something different. I don't know, but that's what the thing I got in a lot of his films, where he takes the past, particularly like the past of the main character that he has in the film. He takes the past of that and making that a prominent point for his characters moving on in the films. And I really like that. I don't know if that's just him personally, what he likes, or just a coincidence that all the movies that he, is directing, their scripts have characters very similar, or themes very similar. But I think that's his style. I think he likes to take stuff from the past and to make it relevant in the future, and how does it go together with that. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. What is your ranking for all of Scott Dickerson's films? Also guys, don't forget to check out my Twitter so you can stay up to date with my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember guys, keep watching movies.